Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Yofukashi no Uta, Call of the Night, the finale, episode 13. Alas, this will be the end of this season. I don't want to say series because I hope against all hope that we're going to get more. Maybe so, maybe not, I don't know. I know the manga is pretty far ahead of what we've seen, so there certainly is enough material. Now this episode is coming out a little bit late. Friday I had a lot of work, came tired home, and today I had some friends over, so I wasn't able to catch up to my backlog today. Right now it's already tomorrow, and well, tomorrow. Today is today, but you know what I mean. But yeah, now I can finally sit down and record this episode, and it's going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. Got myself a kombucha with acai berries. Red, vaguely, kind of like blood. Thematically fits. But yeah, in the previous episode, what the fuck even happened? Honestly. Well, what happened, of course, is that Kou had his beliefs confronted, had his goals confronted, his ideas even. First by Mahiru, who asked him what does he even want to do? Why does he even want to become a vampire, right? What will being a vampire actually give him? What's the benefit? Why do that? Turns out Kou doesn't really know. He just kind of went with the flow and just decided to become a vampire on a whim. He can't really formulate any particular reason why exactly must he be a vampire and not just be himself and still lead the life that he wants to do. Because being a vampire is technically not required for that. Now we know that being a vampire makes the whole shtick much easier. The fact that you're basically immortal, that you have so much control over people, that you have super strength, super resilience. You don't even need to eat technically more often than once every 10 years. So for sure makes life a whole lot easier. But technically he can keep being a NEET without the necessity of being a vampire. So that kind of shook up his beliefs, not really beliefs, but his goals. Because so far he's been very motivated that I want to become a vampire. I want to do everything for the goal of becoming a vampire. And now he asks himself, why do I even want to do that? Later on, he met with Nazuna, and that didn't help alleviate his questions either. Especially Nazuna saying that, hey, being a vampire is kind of boring actually. But I have a feeling it might just be her. She might be in some sort of a slump, or she might be saying that for the sake of Kou. She might be seeing that he's not exactly entirely into the whole being a vampire idea, and he wants to give up, so she wants to make it easier on him. Maybe, hard to tell. My suspicion is that it's on Nazuna, that she said, oh, I showed you this cool night world because that's how I wish it looked. And, well, that's how it did look. She caused the night to look and feel the exact way that she wished it did. So it's kind of the ability to cause that is kind of in her hands, but she doesn't see that. That's the vibe I'm getting here. And of course, Kou also met with the detective lady, who's the creepiest motherfucker in the show, honestly. And she just straight up told him, I want to kill the vampires. Just every single one of them. They are monsters, they don't deserve to live. And if you want to fraternize yourself with vampires, well, I'm gonna have to kill you eventually. And if you want to give up being a vampire, well, you have nothing to worry because I'm gonna kill every other vampire, so you're not gonna be in any sort of danger. Um, yeah, she's certainly an interesting character. And when she didn't get her way, when Kou finally kind of steeled himself and got back the resolve that no, vampires are good actually, not the resolve that he wants to become a vampire, but he like fully embraces the fact that not all vampires are bad, not all of them are feral, and arguably even that dude vampire, that feral vampire, could have been saved, could have been integrated into vampire society if only someone bothered explaining things to him and teaching him and guiding him. So, yeah. And she even like called the police on call, which is an interesting move because you'd think that they kind of want to keep everything on the down low. That oh, vampires, some shady dealings and whatnot. But she's not afraid just to just involve the police in the whole shtick and essentially destroy Cole's current way of life. He won't be able to go out at night if the police is patrolling the area, and they can just take him in for I don't know, going around at night as a high schooler or something. I don't necessarily know all the laws in Japan, so I'm assuming that's against the law somehow. And in the end, one of the vampires, one of Nazuna's, I don't want to say friends, but compatriots, found Ko and took him with her, or wants to take him with her. To where? I don't know. For what purpose? I don't know that either. Does it have something to do with Nazuna? Does it have something to do with the detective lady? Or is it perhaps completely unrelated? Who's to say? We're gonna have to watch this episode and see for ourselves, I guess, what exactly is going to happen. Because I have pretty much no predictions whatsoever. I've no clue where it's going. I don't know if it's going in the direction of like tragedy, where maybe not necessarily tragedy, but like thriller and uneasiness and being forever unsure. Is Nazuna gonna get killed by the vampire hunter? The detective lady knows an awful lot about Ko and Nazuna, so she has ways to find her and kill her apparently. Yeah, although that's an interesting detail, I noted it in my green notebook that perhaps it's the attachment, that when a vampire loses attachment to the mortal realm, then they can be killed with silver. If they still have an attachment, they cannot, which kind of explains why Nazuna didn't burn in the sunlight, but the dude did. But he also was exposed to the silver at the same time, so in the end, we don't know what exactly the deal is. Or, yeah, I genuinely don't know where this series is headed as a whole. Is it gonna go back to the light-hearted and slightly philosophical and emotional ways it started with? Is it gonna continue as a thriller? Is it gonna continue as a mystery show? Is it gonna turn into a battle shonen where Ko turns into a vampire and has to fight off vampire hunters? Or where it's gonna go? I don't know. Every single route is pretty much exactly as plausible as the other. So very hard for me to make any predictions. But yeah, we're gonna have to watch this episode to see what actually is going to happen. Me talking here isn't gonna uncover the truth. So, timer, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it to sync up your own copy. Sound subs sound triple S. Almost forgot. Sound because I wanna hear the music. And support, you can support the channel on Patreon or Throne monetarily if you want, links in the description, or non-monetarily, share my content, spread the word, it costs nothing and helps the channel a lot. And with that out of the way, we can start watching episode 13, the finale of Yofukashi no Uta, in 3, 2, 1, go. Nazuna Gaming. And Ko isn't coming. No, no, she's not gaming. Just sitting in a stupor. You should go where? Look for Kou? Meet with the other vampires because they have some secret meeting and invited Kou there? You should go to deal with the detective lady? I have no clue. Also, I had the chance. Well, I'm saying as if it's some uh, rare occurrence. It's up on YouTube all the time. Um, First Take, I think this series is called, and I watched a couple of videos of Creepy Nuts guys performing their songs in like the first take, and they're doing real fucking well without much preparation, much like any rehearsals or whatever. They just come in, take up the microphone, the DJ table, and just perform. And it's not any worse than what you see like post processed and mastered in the show. Kind of wild, honestly. Also, the singer's voice in the first take is a little bit has that little bit of a rasp, and it adds just a little bit of a kick to the lyrics. Okay, she invited him home. No. Oh, her harem? Her harem. Harem. Immediately dejected. Okay, she has an interesting living arrangement for sure. No, they're harem. Yeah, makes no difference for vampires. Why would it? Yeah, I genuinely have no clue what her deal is. Just appeared out of nowhere and whisked Ko away. She's naked? Or towel only? Oh, it's a dude. Okay. Otokonoko representation. I'm perfectly fine with that. I. Yeah. I did not expect a trap. No, she doesn't really talk about the other vampires much. Whatsoever, actually. Yeah. I mean, fault is kind of on both sides, I guess. Kinda sorta. So he has to die. I mean, some humans already know of that, and I doubt Kou would just go out blabbering about vampires willy-nilly. Someone's angry. Yeah, Nazuna never cared much about rules, did she? Probably not with her. She's not great with romance. I mean, kinda. Silver ring. So it is a combination of multiple factors. Okay, interesting. I mean, kinda. Yeah, actually makes sense. Actually makes sense. Perhaps if there are some scientist vampires, they actually know various stuff, but everyday, usual, regular vampire probably doesn't know all that much. And you want a taste. Yeah, I mean, no doubt. Yeah. I mean, again, that's just truth. Not hard to imagine why. Hmm? I mean, yeah, to become a vampire, you must fall in love eventually. I guess we're gonna have the talk in the end. That's a nice angle, thank you. Okay, interesting. I mean, yeah, with great power comes great responsibility, and with that, great consequences. I mean, it's not easy to fall in love on the spot. True. A man of culture, I see. Just straight up. It's gonna be the reverse. Vampires falling in love with him instead of him falling in love with vampires. That would require Kou to fall in love, though. And I don't think that's something. It's something that can just happen. Okay. Some form of hypnosis? Yeah, some kind of a brainwashing. Rejected. I mean, yeah, can two people ever, like, truly understand each other? Well, that's a strong declaration. Probably not. Besides, I mean, there is still a year left, right? Well, less than a year, but close. So, if worst comes to worst, Cole can just agree to being brainwashed like a week before the time is up and solve the problem that way and keep trying throughout the year still. So at least now he has a contingency plan. And the night is back in full color. It's no longer desaturated. Where Nazuna? Okay, she left. Broken jaw or something? Or a haha funny moment that she was so so much love talk that Nazuna is just in stupor right now, embarrassed out of her mind or something. I don't know. Could go either way with this show, honestly. She could be beaten to a pulp. She could be embarrassed out of her mind. Both of those results are perfectly valid by this show's standards. I mean, yeah. Run. And Creepy Nuts comes in. That was a high jump. Another instance of Kou's uh, athletic feats that make me think he might have something of a vampire inside of him still. Still, already. Perhaps he's not a full-on vampire, but some of that, I don't know, saliva coursing through his veins gives him a little bit of a boost. I mean, yeah, you've been having fun, and it was fun. You both had fun, Nazuna. You just, for some reason, can't see that. Oh, mirror of their conversation and the scene from the first episode. Yeah, that's just the first episode. She's an awful lot embarrassed. Did Nico pull out of Nazuna? Yeah, Nazuna saying that she loves Kou? Is that what it was? Yeah. Probably. That's probably what happened. Okay, so they have a support system now. I mean, was it a lie, though? I'll make you fall in love. Oh! So let's both discover the fun things together. How about that? Okay, it looks like it's the vampire that fell in love with a human, not the other way around. At least not yet. Okay, and we have a kiss. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I'll drink to that. It's non-alcoholic, just so we're clear. And that's it. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. It kind of felt like a finale. Kind of didn't. It's in that weird spot that anime sometimes end up in when they're adaptations of source material that isn't by its nature divided into distinct arcs. Right? Like, you can't really say that there's been any clearly defined arcs in Yofukashi no Uta the way there are arcs in, I don't know, Overlord, for example, right? You have the Dwarven Kingdom arc, and the finale of the Dwarven Kingdom is the fight with the Quokka, conquering the dragons and the fight with the Quokka. You have the arc of Irantel Conquest, and it ends on the Rabble Throne. There is a distinct arc that has a distinct start and distinct finish. Source material like what Yofukashi no Uta is based on, or other more slice of lifey shows, very hard to have a finale of, because you can't exactly pick an arc whose ending will be an arc whose finale will be the finale of this season of the show. It's not always true, right? You can have some slice of life shows where, I don't know, graduation can be the finale, or a big class trip can be the finale, or winning a competition can be the finale, right? Uh, yeah. Huh. That was a very interesting episode. And surprising start to end. Surprising start to end. I don't think I would have ever been able to predict that it went exactly the way it did. Never in my life. Okay, so how about we watch it again? Shall we? Yeah, she's playing on a BSB, I'm guessing. Except not. Yeah, Sunni BSB. Sunni BSB. And a nice detail that she seems to be pressing the AB buttons with her fingernail. Maybe, probably. It's time to go. Guess I should go. Yeah. Also, something I noticed, her top, it changed. I think it's already changed in the previous episode. In like the early episodes, it was much more revealing. There weren't any of those purple parts. I wonder why. Did she change into this new top in the manga as well? Or is it some, I don't know, self-imposed censorship, or what's going on here? Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind it at all. I'm not gonna start screaming they're censoring my titties or anything of the sort. I'm just curious, did she actually change her top because people wear different clothes? Or is it something that's like anime specific? It's no big deal, but yeah, right? Here you can see in the opening, she essentially just had a bra on. Bra with like a top piece here, kind of a sports bra with a boob window. if we can get a better shot. No, they were falling earlier. Yeah, there certainly weren't any purple bits. Take it back. I know it's a weird thing to get hung up on, but... Okay, maybe we don't get a clear view of Nazuna in the opening after all. Here? No, not even. Here, I guess, would be the clearest. Yeah, there's no purple, it's just all one piece. Just a boob window to it. Oh yeah, those are some good shots. Yeah, essentially it's the same, except now she has a purple bit covering her boob window. And her collar choker thing is purple as well, instead of black. No, it's not the same. Now she has an under boob window. In the original, she had an over boob window. I guess it's simply just a different top. And I shouldn't be looking so much into that. We should just focus on, on going through the episode. Hatsuka-sama. Right, it didn't click immediately. No, wait. Sama is gender neutral. It's not like San-sama. Yeah, Koi's weirded out. Well, weirded out. Curious. Kind of weirded out as well by Sama because it's a show of like reverence. And yeah, apparently she has a harem. A brainwashed harem. Like, to this degree, to the degree where they behave like beaten dogs when she expresses her disapproval of their behavior. And they just go away. They're at her. Well, I keep saying her. At his beck and call. Although at this point we still don't know that. Yeah. He's my guest, and you're gonna badmouth him? Single person couch. I wonder why. Probably because it's just him that sits in it. It's essentially his throne, and all the others are, I don't know, sitting around or serving as a footrest or things like that. Probably. It's a nice bit of contrast between this flat and Nazuna's. Nazuna's flat is extremely empty, colorful, but at the same time very devoid of anything. It just has like the basic furniture. It's all function and pretty much no form, besides the colors. Right? She has a couch, she has colorful doors, but she doesn't really have any pictures. She doesn't really have any baubles. No, like vases or flowers or anything of the sort. This is a stark contrast. Marble tiles, plants. Uh, I think the one to the left is like a coffee machine. Yeah, I think it's like drip coffee thing. Tons of books. I wonder if there are any references in those titles. Probably. I can't read Japanese, so I wouldn't be able to tell. Some of them seem to be maybe not translated, but have some English text on them. Coffee pool, I can see. Girls of the Living Dead, I'm assuming it's a spin of The Dawn of the Living Dead, plus Vampire, a new story. Rosario plus Vampire spin, I don't know. Station, something like that. King. I wonder. I wonder if it's the king. I mean the king. Stephen King. Hmm. And yeah, she's a dude. He's a dude. I didn't see that coming. Honestly, genuinely, I just thought that he's flat. Not that we're dealing with an Otokonoko here. I don't mind it, mind you. It's also a nice little bit of, I guess, information, I guess, lore, maybe you could say, because all of the vampires we've seen so far were girls. We haven't really seen any male vampires. The dude who was turned by the Gyaru vampire was, I think, the first male vampire that we've seen, and we haven't seen much of him. The feral vampire is a deal of his own, but besides that, we haven't really seen any. Interesting. I just wanna get this straight. Oh, straight is anything but this situation. And yeah, Nazuna never told me anything. Or rather, yeah, Nazuna never tells me anything. Rather, I never made an effort to ask properly. Uh, it's an interesting topic, you could say. Not being told versus not asking properly. Because how much of the information about vampires, about who you meet, is kind of owed to you, and how much of it you have to put effort to drag out of Nazuna, right? Like you'd expect that some basic information, and Nazuna did give him some basic information that vampires have to drink blood, that just drinking blood isn't enough, the core mechanic of becoming a vampire. But she could have said a little bit more. She could have talked a little bit more. I wouldn't say that. Though, I guess information about her peers is kinda in the category that is answered when prompted, not answered by default. I don't know, hard to tell. But in general, it's always an interesting topic when it comes up in any show or whatever. That, oh, you didn't ask, right? Was that something that should have been said and that should have been the default, or is it genuinely something that needs a prompt to be talked about? A great example of that is, of course, Madoka Magica, right? Kyubei withholding some information, and is it something that he should have talked about from the beginning, or is it something that should have been asked? But again, well, not even again. In the first place, you cannot ask about things you don't know to ask about, right? Like, if I'm meeting someone, I'm not gonna ask them about the make of their car if I don't even know they have a car. If I meet someone, I'm not gonna ask them, are they a, I don't know, a murderer, convicted murderer that was released on bail, because who the fuck asks things like that? It's not the default. It's not the default assumption that people have about other people. So yeah, information sharing is in general an interesting topic. Sometimes can lead to a lot of frustration, at least for me, when it comes to shows. Right, we're still in the context of shows when some issues stem from a complete and utter lack of information sharing, and things could have been solved by just fucking talking. Tokyo 24 Coup is a series that's plagued by this issue. So much of what happened in Tokyo 24 Coup could have been solved by just talking, just communicating. A phone call could have saved the lives of at least two people. single phone call, for example. So it can lead to a lot of frustration, but when withholding information and sparse sharing is used properly and is built around properly, like in world where people don't share information because of some genuine reasons and not because plot demands it, it can be a really nice tool in the tool belt or toolbox, I guess, of any writer. This is the latter. Like, make no mistake. They really are using the scarcity of information in a really good way and have a great explanation for it. And yeah, Nazuna supports Kou wholly and entirely. Of course she does. And she's willing to throw fists over him. She's willing to throw fists and even die, as she said herself, right? If you kill me here and if that stops you from pursuing Kou, then I'm fine with that. I won't go down. I won't go down easily, but suit yourself as long as you leave Kou alone. I really expected some really dramatic shit to happen here. With art like this, where we're having this kind of a face fully distorted, like it's Albedo from Overlord or Ragyo from Kill la Kill. I fully expected actual blood to be spilled, like genuinely. This whole time I was on the edge of my seat. I was incredibly tense. I could feel the tension. What's gonna happen? Is Nazuna injured? Is she beaten up? Is she, I don't know, was she so brainwashed, for lack of a better word, but essentially like scolded and yelled at so severely that she doesn't want to see Kou for the foreseeable future, and that's where another portion of drama comes in. Or what the fuck is exactly happened? Right, my mind was going the completely worst places. That she is actually gravely injured. Maybe her throat is ripped out or something, and it's gonna take time for it to regrow. But no, we are just not going in that direction. It just, some amazing misdirection. Sets up the tone in a very heavy way. Uses all of the associations that people have with media and with how media goes, right? A violent outburst, this kind of a look, shadow on her face, suddenly sharp teeth, completely overbearing. Nazuna is clearly scared. She's no longer her confident self. She's scared shitless. This shadow on her face and the glow of her eye, and saying that, oh, if possible, I just want to enjoy some laugh talk and leave it at that. But if not, that's kinda left hanging, or we expect that to be left hanging. And the expectation is shit's gonna go down. Turns out, no, she really just wanted some laugh talk. It was traumatizing for Nazuna because she's not great with those topics, but still, fairly light-hearted way out. I'm reminded of yet another show, much better than Tokyo 24-ku. Tsukito Laketo no Sferatu, Irina the Vampire Cosmonaut. That was another show that creates that overbearing atmosphere of uneasiness. Completely and utterly overbearing. All the time, you are left at the edge of your seat, wondering, is our main character gonna disappear now? Is his love interest gonna get killed? Is something going to happen? Is his car gonna get sabotaged and he's gonna die in a fiery explosion. The atmosphere is incredibly dense, incredibly thick. But those things, it's just the atmosphere. The events are. It's hard to describe it. Right? Like, I don't know, imagine watching a movie based on, I don't know, 1984, and the atmosphere, the overbearing, dark atmosphere of utter oppression, right? And you're following, I don't know, Mr. Duck around in that movie. And at every turn, you're like, oh, Mr. Duck is gonna fucking disappear. Oh, Mr. Duck is gonna get fucking killed. Oh no, Mr. Duck is getting close to the wood chipper. Someone's gonna push him into the wood chipper. And none of that ever happens. You're constantly being edged with tension. That like best describes Tsukito to Nosferatu, and I guess that also very well describes Yofukashi no Uta, at least at times. Amazing, I love it. It's the first time I encountered this kind of a tension edging was in Tsukito to Nosferatu, and I've been seeking that thrill ever since. And Yofukashi no Uta is providing a good fix of that. I love it. And yeah, he went and made a big show of declaring you're gonna become one, but he's not so sure again. Again, he's not so sure now. Especially because, yeah, the appearance of the detective lady and of feral vampires and so much shit has happened that kind of shook up his conviction. Sunrise, silver, and bad tasting blood. Seems to be the trifecta needed to defeat a vampire. He turned into ash. Ash, I thought so. He knows. He knows something. Don't know what, but something. This is interesting. To tell you the truth, vampires don't know much about vampires either. You have a vague idea from what you've learned from smart people, but you don't know how humans work either, ultimately. It's a very interesting thing that's often omitted from media whenever there are some supernatural creatures that appear. Right? Whenever an elf, for example, appears in the story, the elf is able to tell you all about the elven culture, all about the elven magic, all about the elven, I don't know, weaponsmithing, elven physiology, and everything else. Whenever a character meets an alien, that alien can talk all about their biology and how they have two hearts and what's the purpose of the secondary one, and can count and describe all of the glands that their alien species has that humans don't. And when you usually don't think about it, but when you stop and do think about it, well, humans don't know everything about themselves either. Like, I can tell you that there's thyroid, and thyroid excretes some hormones, and there's the, I don't know, amygdala also excretes some hormones, but I won't be able to tell you about anything more. And that makes sense because I don't know everything about how human body works. I can tell you that we have neurons in our heads, but how exactly does it work? I know there's like potassium and sodium, and they cause electricity to jump, the potential, because I think potassium is positively charged and sodium is negatively charged, and that jumps between the axon and the synapse, or through the synapse between axon and something else, something like that. But I don't fucking know how pancreas work. I know the word pancreas, and that's all I know about pancreas. I know vaguely what thyroid is, that it's somewhere in the throat, and that it secretes tyrosine, something like that. And again, I won't be able to tell you more about it. And it makes sense that everyday regular vampire won't know everything about vampire biology, about vampire society, even vampire culture, vampire death. It makes perfect sense, but you usually don't think about that. I love this moment here. Yeah, we don't really know why there's a difference between good and bad tasting blood either. Some blood just tastes good, some doesn't. Why? I don't fucking know. It just does. Ask some scientist vampire who's been researching the topic for the past 200 years. Maybe he's gonna have some idea, but I don't fucking know. Right? And again, same with humans. Why does something taste good and something else doesn't? You'd be hard pressed to exactly talk about why you like the flavor of your favorite dish. Same goes for blood. Why do they like the flavor of some blood and not the other? Who the fuck knows? Apparently, Kou's blood is delicious and the detective lady's blood isn't. Uh, I have three theories on the topic. One is that it has something to do with your attachment to the night. That if you reject the night isn't coursing through your veins. And that makes blood disgusting to vampires. When you embrace the night, when you enjoy the night, you become one with it. And the night itself is coursing through your veins. And that's the delicious factor. That's the umami of your blood for vampires. That's one theory I have. Another theory has with the state of your health, generally speaking. Ko is athletic. He's not particularly stressed out, so his levels of cortisol are at all-time low. He's young. He's not sick with anything, so his blood must be delicious, right? It's like a fresh fruit grabbed straight from a tree. Meanwhile, the detective lady is on the older side, I'm assuming late 30s or thereabouts. She's a chain smoker, she probably has some health issues, so her blood is unhealthy and filled with nicotine, and that makes it disgusting. Third theory, although that only and purely and solely pertains to the detective lady, might have something to do with like holy water. Maybe she's drinking holy water, maybe she's injecting herself with holy water or something. I don't know, maybe with like colloidal silver. I don't know, hard to tell. Uh, yeah, those two theories either has to do with health or with how much a person embraces the night. I'm actually gonna note it down. Can I grab? Thank you. There we go. Yofukashi no Uta. Where are you? Ruby Overlord Hataraku Disco Elysium Yofukashi. Blood flavor has to do with either a degree of embracing the night, capital N, or B, health, just plain health. Interesting to see where it's gonna go, if we ever get answers at all. And yeah, you'd have been in a fix tonight. I gave you place to hide, so now you can make us even and give me a little bit of your blood. I totally look like a girl. Yeah, you do. How come you dress like a girl? I look good this way. I mean, that's a perfectly valid reason. You don't need any better if you look good in female clothes and you feel good in female clothes. I mean, fuck, by all means. By all means. For some reason, both men and women are attracted to me this way. Yeah, really, really weird, really odd. Why would both men and women be attracted to a femboy? uh, yeah, truly a mystery, isn't it? I tend to assume people like what they do or someone's making them do it. That's an interesting outlook, genuinely. If someone does something, it's either because they like doing that or because they are forced to do that. One could argue that, I don't know, you're working not necessarily because you like doing that, but also you aren't exactly being forced to do that. But you kinda are, because if you don't work, you don't get the money, you end up homeless and starving. That's how it goes. So Cole's outlook on the matter of doing things is really simple, but really rings true. You do something either because you want to or because you are forced to by some means in one way or another, but you are forced to regardless. I do enjoy it because I look so good. Yeah. I mean, no doubt about it. Yeah, we kind of broke the conversation about you fell in love once too. Were we conflicted and we just dropped the topic because of the shattered table. Those are some nice bits of art. And Nazuna has her old top here. That's that's an interesting angle of the camera. Not gonna lie, I don't mind it whatsoever, but still a very interesting angle. If I don't become a vampire, I could be killed at any point. Yeah, but interestingly, there isn't really any rule. It's more like the pirate code. It's really just a set of guidelines, not hard rules. But that works both ways. If there's some vague rule, it can be not enforced, or it can be enforced much stronger than one would expect. That's kind of a thing when you just have guidelines, or when you don't have laws whatsoever. You just have vague moral guidelines or whatever. Um, I don't know, driving under influence, DUI could, if there are no like hard rules, it could just be forgiven and you're free to go, or it could end up in a public execution, like from one extreme to another. If there are no rules, if there are no full strict guidelines, well, that goes both ways. So, sure, you might face no consequences, but Nazuna might face much harsher consequences. There's no rule. There's no rule that says we can't just let you live, but there's also no rule that says we can just forgive Nazuna. Yeah, Koi isn't in danger right now. It's Nazuna. She's in danger of a love talk. Now we know that in retrospect, but right now it's like incredibly tense. It really does raise tension by a lot. I'm gonna turn you into a vampire. I honestly thought we're gonna go there. That right now, Kou is gonna be turned into a vampire and he's gonna burst through the window or through the roof or whatever to save Nazuna. I really thought we were going in that direction, but we didn't. And I like it. I like that the show did what it did and didn't go with my idea. And he can, by becoming a vampire, he can also save her indirectly by becoming a non-issue, essentially. Yeah, you're 14-year-old in the midst of adolescence, and you don't feel even an inkling of attraction right now. Weird. Right? Like the age of 14 is usually a storm of hormones coursing through the body. All sorts of things happening, all sorts of weird, I don't know, desires, weird attractions. That's what adolescence is. That's how it works. In the case of Kou, there is none of that. There's lust, sometimes, when he gets kissed by Nazuna, and that's about it. But besides that, not much is happening. Yeah, it doesn't mean it has to be you. Because I'm a guy. Yeah, Kou doesn't mind that. He's a man of culture. The cute is the only truth. If it's cute, who cares about anything else? I like you, Kou. You're my spirit animal. And yeah, Kou, ever the ladies' man, or I guess also guy's man. You have a cute face, just straight, with completely straight face, with no care, no even like knowledge of what he's saying, really. Just stating a fact without realizing any sort of like societal, I guess, connotations of what he's saying. Caught me off guard, yeah. This is also an interesting topic and reminds me of kind of a meme, I guess, at this point. That gay sex is the best possible because only a guy knows what a guy really likes, which is an interesting outlook for sure. And we're kind of getting into that here. I think I'm the only one who really understands how you feel as a guy because I'm a guy myself. It makes sense when you think about it, doesn't it? I'm positive I can turn you into a vampire. Your nose looks like a potato now. This is an interesting and pretty, maybe not out of nowhere discussion here, but kinda is. Kinda came here completely out of left field. Suddenly talking about the big divide between men and women. I guess it was prompted by the truthful declaration that I'm a guy, you're a guy, means we are best suited to understand each other, which again makes sense. So, yeah, I guess that's what prompted the whole thing. I really do like the conclusion, though. I really do. Yeah, I've always felt that the two sides will never truly understand one another. But yeah, is that really true? Is it that men and women cannot understand each other, or is it that we humans cannot understand each other? Because, as I said, as I briefly mentioned during this scene, or I think it might have been the next one. Yeah, but when I think about it, that has nothing to do with gender. I've never really understood anyone else in my life. I don't think I'll ever understand Nazuna, nor will I ever understand you. Nor will Nazuna or him understand Kou. Because there is truth in that. As I mentioned, that humans can't really truly understand each other. We can understand a portion of it, right? When we talk about ourselves, we can understand those bits that we talk about. When we are with people living or being around them, we can glean some things from the interactions, from how they do things, right? But ultimately, one person cannot live another's life. One person cannot get into another's head. One person cannot feel what another person feels. So a complete and utter understanding between two distinct people is entirely and wholly impossible. Right? Like, I could tell you all about my life. From the earliest moments of my life that I remember, I could go through all of my, I don't know, all of my infatuations, all of my loves, all of the events I remember from grade school, all of my traumas, all of the bad things in my life, everything, 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 and you still wouldn't be able to understand me, no matter how much you try. And it's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's just something that is the case. Because you can only hear about those things. Even if you saw them with your very own eyes, even if you accompanied me from the moment of my birth throughout my life, you still wouldn't be me. Your experience still wouldn't be the same as my experience. So you still wouldn't be able to understand me entirely. That's an interesting topic. Perhaps, sure, being a man and being a woman can create bigger issues in understanding each other because the experiences in life are so much more different. But ultimately, it's just one factor. And it's pretty much the same factor as between a man born and living in a city and a man born and living in the countryside. The divide between them that obstructs their understanding would be the same as a divide between a man from a city and a woman from a city. So it has nothing to do with gender ultimately. It has nothing to do with any particular divide. It's just the sum of them all. The individuality of the experience of everybody's life that makes people inherently unable to understand each other. Yeah, you said I don't feel an inkling of attraction, but isn't that true towards you as well? All I have to do is to trick your brain into thinking you love me. I love this dolly zoom, I think it's called. Yeah, dolly zoom. Also, the like things in the background actually change in perspective. It's not a cheap dolly zoom with just shifting layers. Things are actually changing perspective. Romantic attraction is basically like being brainwashed anyway. Kinda is. It impacts brain chemistry and the processing. That's why my offspring all seem really happy, because they are all brainwashed. Also, interesting from a different perspective as well. Vampires in media often have some way of brainwashing people, right? Like hypnotic eyes, or a single bite turns you into a thrall. Not offspring yet, but a thrall. We haven't seen that yet in the show. This is the first time we see a mention of uh, essentially brainwashing someone, hypnotizing someone into loving the vampire. I wonder if it's something that some vampires can do. Is it something that vampires in general can inherently do but you have to work on it to master it, to control it consciously? Or is it just that he read some books about hypnosis and he mastered that because he's been living for the past 200 years and he had a lot of time to read, like, I don't know, secret CIA documents about brainwashing and mind controlling prisoners or whatever? I wonder. Interesting for sure. Yeah, I still want to fall in love with Nazuna-chan. If you don't want to kill me, I figure it'll be okay. Also, this is very, very interesting. I want to fall in love with Nazuna-chan. You could kinda call it love already, right? You want to forever be with one person, or rather, you want to get into the state where you would want to be forever with that one person. So it's kind of like one step removed from love. But ultimately, it is love because it's the desire for all the things that love creates a desire for. Interesting. Love, but one step removed. And I don't want Nazuna-chan to be bored, I guess. Yeah, they are both helping each other. That's kind of the shtick with this series, isn't it? That it's not just Nazuna that helps Kou by showing him the beauty of the night. It's also Kou helping Nazuna by keeping her occupied, by keeping her not bored, by doing all of that crazy stuff with her, where she would otherwise just hole herself up in her house and play Minecraft on PS2. Some cool looking water, some great shots in general. Also, you see here, night is very plain, very normal, vaguely dark bluish sky with some bleak looking stars. And as soon as Kou goes out, colors and light everywhere. As soon as he makes the decision, he's not even out. Colors and light. And then he's out, and we see the familiar view of purple and neon and galaxies in the sky. And that's animated on once. He's running. Cool. Immediately color. Immediately life. Immediately fun. I don't know about okay. She won't be capable of proper conversation for a while. Again, my mind immediately went into the direction of her jaw is wired shut. Her jaw is broken. Her throat has been ripped out. Her jaw has been ripped out. She has a stake through her throat. Or, in that direction immediately. But no, it's about Nazuna being too embarrassed to talk, being frozen because of all the love talk that she did, and that's her biggest weakness. Bigger than silver, bigger than sunlight. It's in return for your safety. Again, another thing that made me believe that she made some sort of a pact that, I don't know, you can rip out my tongue, but in exchange for that, don't touch Kou. Or something along those lines. What did you do to Nazuna-chan? And the fact that nothing was stated explicitly, and also this shot with this very sketchy, thick lines that is used in this show to signify moments of distress, moments of danger. It really creates the illusion that something really, really bad has happened. And the bit that Nazuna said she doesn't want to see right now immediately jumps in the direction of, I don't know, Nazuna was essentially talked into and convinced that it will be better for the both of them if Nazuna were to never come into contact with Kou. And she believes that wholeheartedly, that it's the better choice here. And we're gonna get some drama caused by that, which is a very common trope. So that's why my mind went immediately in that direction. And Kou just casually says, "Will you shut up?" to a vampire. To a strong and pissed vampire. The balls on this dude. The night isn't all fun. It can be scary or boring. But to tell you the truth, it is fun in the end. It's more fun than it's not. Even that thrill, even that scare is kind of a fun. Gets your blood pumping, doesn't it? Also, that was a tall pedestrian bridge, and he jumped off it without any issue. And just kept running. Didn't even stop to rub his legs because they hurt or anything. No, he just landed on his feet and run. We meet all of the secondary characters, I think, in this montage. Yeah, the three drunks. This girl, I don't know who she is. I don't remember her, at least. The office lady who came for a massage. I don't think I know her. Are some of those characters like foreshadowing of future characters that's gonna be appearing? I don't know. I wonder if Gokun's pissed. No, he's not. All I did was lie to him. Yeah, she just goes on walks, drinks booze, and plays video games and doesn't do anything fun. But she started doing fun and she was good at it. There's no need to, like, not continue doing that. What if she lied that she's been living like that all the time? She's been living like that for the past weeks. That's all that matters, really. Hiegoshi is made by High Precision Brewing. That's good to know. I love the parallel to, I think it was the first episode. Yeah, the first episode where Kou was by the vending machine and was trying to buy some alcohol just to see how it is. Yeah, the exact parallel. And she's turning around the exact same way Kou turned around. And Kou's face emerges from the darkness the exact same way Nazuna's face emerged from the darkness in that scene. And it's animated on once for that added fluidity. I love it. I love the parallel. Violence isn't my thing, I just wanted some laugh talk. Yeah, she says violence isn't my thing as you see the carnage in the background. Sure. Nazuna, you'd better do whatever it takes to make Yamori-kun fall for you. That's the condition for us not killing him. We aren't told that explicitly. But it really does seem like the whole thing, the whole laugh talk that embarrassed Nazuna so, was Nazuna essentially admitting that she wants Kou to fall in love with her. That it's no longer just, whatever, if he does, he does, if he doesn't, oh well, what can you do? No, she actively wants him to fall in love because she herself fell in love. Yeah, I had so much fun, I forgot I'd been bored for ages. Not any different from our initial agreement, no, but now it's based in sincerity, without any hidden intentions. Yeah, Nazuna is like remorseful and worried. Is Kou gonna hate me now because I was a liar? No! No, you're fine. Cool. You are having fun all this time? Cool. That's great. That means we're okay. That means things are back to normal. And that's all I want. And she still has the transporter. Or transceiver. Kokun, I promise I will make you fall in love with me. Yeah, we're okay. It's really no biggie. Yeah, if you really thought you were like bored, and if everything was new to you, and if you were having fun doing those new things, we just have to keep finding new fun things to do. That's all there is to it, really. You're new to the whole fun at night thing? Cool, so am I. We can discover it together. There's fun in that as well. Not being guided and being shown the fun stuff is fun in itself, but discovering that, the two of us, that's also its own brand of fun. And a straight declaration, as is usual of Kou, completely straight faced without any wavering. I'm gonna fall in love with you. It's not ultimately that different from an expression of love, of just saying, I love you. I want to fall in love with you is pretty much the same, except one step removed, essentially. I won't ever let you get bored, let's stay together. I mean, how can you look at it in any other way? And of course, Nazuna is embarrassed out of her mind. Kokun, I promise I will make you fall in love with me. And we get a kiss. A good and proper, emotion-driven, loving kiss from a vampire GF. And they are having fun. She is having fun. Wait, she's not with them. No, she's not with them. Wonder why. Why is she out and about on her lonesome? Mahiru is delivering flowers. Akira is, I don't know, airing her boobs out. The detective lady is cursing all of the vampires in the air on the earth and plotting her revenge or whatever. Probably. Who the fuck knows what she thinks? And those two lovebirds are kissing deeply and passionately. All that was missing was a string of saliva. Okay, what was the last line of the show? And the change in Nazuna's art style here. So much brighter. It's blinding. And she herself doesn't even like know what the fuck she just did. She worked on impulse, but her impulse was correct. So we're in this together. God damn, what an amazing show. God damn. Shit. I need more. I need more. Genuinely. Yeah, that was the finale. And great episode, full of misdirection, full of making us think of the worst possibilities and bringing a very positive resolution for everybody. Literally everybody ended up well after this episode. Sure, there are some threads that still remain open, but ultimately, it was a decent ending because the main conflict of do I want to become a vampire? Do I not want to become a vampire? What is our relationship? Does Nazuna want to turn Ko into a vampire, or does she not want to? Does Ko want to become a vampire? All of that ultimately was resolved. Nazuna wants Ko to fall in love with her, and she wants Ko to be a vampire. Ko wants to fall in love with Nazuna, and he wants to be a vampire. Case closed. Period. It's been explained, it's been shown, they molded over. That's the case. A great resolution. The constant, th- not thrill, but fear, even at times, of what's gonna happen. It shows you how big of an impact the usual tropes have on perceiving media, because there's so many other media that would have made this situation genuinely bad and genuinely dramatic, be it because they wanted to, or be it for the sake of cheap drama. I mean, let's be honest here. Very often you see drama added to a show for the sake of drama and no other reason at all. Certainly not the case with Yofukashi no Uta, because everything pointed to adding drama in this episode, but we ultimately didn't. And I like it. The reveal of the one vampire being a dude, interesting implications of that. Uh, Mostly served to create that interesting discussion about understanding between humans, understanding men and women, or is it really based on gender, or is it actually based just on being different humans, being separate beings? Very cool to see more of those other vampires. I love the little mini arc, I guess you could say, with the Gyaru vampire, and I love that we now got insight into this dude, insight into that one other, the JK vampire who works at a maid cafe was cool, and I hope we're going to work through all of them eventually. I would love nothing more than that, honestly. We got a brand new hook, I guess you could say. Kind of a resolution, kind of a hook, um, when it comes to the detective lady being able to kill vampires. Kind of a resolution, because the vampires, or at least the dude, seems to be vaguely familiar with what happened, but not necessarily. So we got a resolution in that, sure, they know about that, but we got a brand new hook of what exactly happened. Right? We know that the dude knows what happened, but we as the viewers don't. And that's gonna keep eating at me. And that's gonna keep eating at many other viewers that will want to know what the deal is with that. Because it could either be a danger, if it really is something that kills indiscriminately, or it can be a non-issue if my prediction that it's based somehow on the vampire's attachment to life is correct here. Uh, what else about this episode? Hmm. Yeah, just a decent ending. Although, as I mentioned briefly at the beginning, mm, kind of an ending, kind of a not, because the original the source material doesn't have that arc-based structure, as many of more slice of lifey manga and light novels don't. So that kind of made it kind of hard to create like a proper finale, but it was a good finale, definitely. The kiss, the mutual understanding, thumbs up, definitely for that. But still, it felt like they could have been episode 14, like genuinely. I finished watching it with, in my mind, having the thought of, oh boy, I can't wait for more next week. It kind of didn't register that it's the end already, which could either speak to the fact that it's a good good finale but not a good ending. Or it could speak to just the quality of the show, that it's so ingrained in my mind that I fully expect it to keep coming. And I love it so much that I reject the very notion of the next week not having a new episode of Yofukashi no Uta. Uh, that's about the episode. About the season as a whole. I mean, what can I say? I professed my love for this show time and time and time again. Amazing art, amazing sound, amazing music. I cannot believe that this is the same studio that gave us the travesty that was CG Berserk. Completely impossible to comprehend. Some of the staff working on it didn't really have that big of a portfolio, but they pulled through. They really pulled their weight. Amazing visually, great performance from voice actors, amazing deep stories, amazing deep and real characters. That's like the biggest part of Yofukashi no Uta. The characters feel real, they feel human, they don't feel like caricatures, they don't feel like tropes, they don't feel like characters, they feel like someone that you might know, they feel like someone that you might be. There's no need to suspend your disbelief when it comes to people and their interactions because they are real. The only thing you have to suspend your disbelief for is the vampire shtick, but besides that, it's just real. The extremely natural banter, the way they talk with each other, just amazing, amazing writing. Amazing art, amazing writing, amazing music by Creepy Nuts, which is a band that I discovered thanks to this show and I've been listening to occasionally. Uh, just everything about the show is amazing. Honestly, 10 out of 10, like genuinely. I would be hard pressed to think of any issues whatsoever. I guess some of the panning shots of the city, of the rooftops, the CG movement doesn't look stellar. It looks good, but not stellar. And I guess that's like the one and only criticism I can have. I genuinely cannot think of any legitimate criticism I would have. The pacing was great, the art was great, the characters were great, the stories were great. What else might one need? I just don't have anything more to say about this anime, about this series. It's just a masterpiece. Honestly, a 10 out of 10, an 11 out of 10. Must watch. Genuinely. And I'm sad that it's ended. I'm gonna have an anime hangover after this series is done. When the realization hits that it's done, and next week there isn't a new episode. I guess we could take a look at the theories I noted down, but there isn't really much of that. Mahiru's girlfriend is a vampire slash werewolf. I don't think she is, but we didn't get a confirmation either way, so I'm gonna leave it as is. Kou is already a vampire, we don't have a confirmation either way. Faction of vampires that look at humans as cattle, we don't know that yet, maybe, maybe not. Feral vampires versus civil ones, we don't know that. Detective is a failed vampire, bitten but never fell in love, we don't know that. Vampires are susceptible to silver, light, etc. only if they lose attachment to life, we don't know that. Nazuna's attachment is Kou, we don't know that. And the blood flavor, the thing that I noted down today, which we don't know either. Certainly a slow burn, but at the same time not. The individual stories are kind of slow burn-ish. Or rather, the overarching story is slow burn-ish, but the individual stories are not. So we're gonna have to wait a little to find answers to those questions for sure. Man, I want a second season. Right here, right now. I want a second season. Fuck whatever's coming out next season. Give me more Yofukashi no Uta. Pull the budget from Chainsaw Man. Pull the budget from Arknights. Give me more Yofukashi no Uta. Yeah, I think we're just gonna end it here. An hour and 40 minutes. It's already way long. So I had an amazing time with this series. I hope you did too. If you did or if you didn't, tell me about it in the comments down below. What you thought of this episode, my reaction, my theories. No spoilers because I might pick up the manga or second season might still show up, so I'd rather avoid getting spoiled. But besides that, tell me your feelings about this series, about this episode. I want to hear them. If you like this video, like it. If you didn't like it, disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of no longer Yofukashi no Uta, alas, but Hataroku Mao-sama, I still have to finish watching that. Madoka Magica, Symphogear, those are the shows that I continue watching. And whatever else I'm gonna be watching next season. Tomorrow or today, I guess, depends on your time zone, gonna have a live stream of the 2016 Symphogear live concert. And next week, or perhaps even this week, I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna be streaming a look at the next season's seasonal shows and what I'm gonna be watching, what I'm not gonna be watching. We're gonna watch some trailers and talk about those stuff, and I'm gonna take a look at my channel analytics, the thing we usually do every season. So you might want to subscribe and click the bell to be notified about those. There's also my Discord where you're also gonna be notified about that, and the Symphogear Let's Watch. I'm gonna stream it in full on Discord and with just the timer on YouTube. And that's also the place where you can talk spoilers if you want. What else? Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or Throne. On Patreon for $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonals like Madoka, like Symphogear, like whatever else. And for just $1, you don't get early access for $1, but you get a role on the Discord, and you also get a place in the credits. And on Throne, you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of new camera, new lighting, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever and still want to help the channel, the best way of support is sharing my content, spreading the word about my stuff, about my channel, about my videos, because the word of mouth really matters a lot for the organic growth of a channel, and organic growth is the best kind of growth, let's be honest here. And with that, that's gonna be it. Man, I don't want to end this video because that will feel like saying goodbye to Yofukashi no Uta, and I don't want to do that, but I must. So yeah, that's gonna be it from me for today. Alas, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one, whatever it might be. Cheers. And here's the credits, our final goodbye to this season of Yofukashi no Uta. You can be one of those people if only you so desire.